Welcome to Sincerely Bhakti. My name is Bhakti Lata. Today we are exploring how there is one truth that makes all of the scriptures click into place. We're reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, commentary by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, reading chapter 7, verse 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Now, the Sanskrit in this verse is Siddhaye Yatatam, which means that those who are endeavoring for perfection, and then actually Siddhanam, those who have achieved perfection. So not only is it rare for someone to even want to approach transcendence, they even achieve it. It's even rarer for those to even achieve transcendence. But Krishna is saying here, hardly one knows me in truth. Mam veti tatvataha. Which is interesting. Isn't the goal of perfection to know God in truth? Isn't that what all of the scriptures are aimed towards? Prabhupada writes here in the purport that generally mankind is just engaged in animalistic activities, just to eat, to sleep, to mate, defend. You're just looking out for the next day. How do I survive? That's most of the population, not only of human beings, but all animals, all living beings, right? So billions upon countless billions of living entities are just trying to survive and enjoy a little bit where they can. But then there's somebody who wants to approach transcendence. And Prabhupada says here that the first 6 chapters of the Gita deal with those who are curious, who are interested. They want to distinguish the transcendent self from matter, the process of dhyana yoga, fixing the mind upon the Lord. But Prabhupada writes here, however, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. And for us to understand what is this truth that makes all of the scriptures click into place, to make everything fit, we need to understand that there are 3 aspects of God and the ways that we can approach him. And so in the Vedic understanding, there is Brahman, or the light. And this understanding is that we are all one. So spirit is within everyone. And within, without, we are all spirit. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. And that the light of God, I want to merge into the light of God to find that joy and peace and harmony. Then there is the realization of Paramatma, of God within the heart. And this is a localized understanding that God is present within the heart of every living being. And actually, he's present in every atom. So God is everywhere. And then there is the understanding that God is a person. He has a form and he has qualities. And the name, so these 3 understandings is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Prabhupada's emphasizing here that it's easier to understand Brahman realization. If you think about it, it's easier and simpler to understand light and to merge into light and to want peace and harmony. Much harder is to understand and to know and to love a person, Bhagavan. And the Gyanis, the ones who are aspiring for Brahman realizations, say, oh, it's so simple, the Bhakti Yoga, or the yoga of devotion and love, simple, it's easy. But then Prabhupada says here, if it's so easy, then why do they choose the hard path, which is Jnana Yoga, merging into the light and Brahman? So understanding that God is a person is what helps us understand this verse. Because Krishna, who is speaking to Arjuna, Krishna is a person. They're standing on a battlefield. And Krishna is saying, yes, somebody might endeavor for perfection. They might even achieve perfection, but hardly one knows me in truth, right? Veti tatvataha. Who is me? And why would someone want to know Krishna in truth? Prabhupada writes here, it's really difficult for an impersonalist who is striving to merge into the light, into Brahman, to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda, or the charioteer of Arjuna. Yashoda Nandana, Parthasarthi, he has all these different names in his relationships with different people. It's easier to understand an impersonal light. But when we understand that Krishna is a person, now we understand this verse, that very few people know that God is a person. And what Prabhupada said here earlier in the purport, that you can only really know God by other persons who know God. So there is a Vedic aphorism which says, Yatha pinde tatha brahmande, which means that as is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. As is the individual, so is the supreme, and vice versa. So when we understand that there are very few people who know us, we could maybe count on one hand the people who are close to us, if we're lucky, if we have friends, if we have familial relationships. In fact, we only have one biological mother and father. We might have mother figures, father figures, but even those, if they're going to be meaningful, they're going to be very limited, very few. Very few friends. Again, if they're going to be meaningful, they're going to be few. So just as it is with us, yatha pinde, just as it is with us, that we have few people who truly know us, right? Truly. It is a similar reflection. That is the way it is with God. Now, it's not that God is limited. God actually has a deep, loving, intimate relationship with every single one of us, which is amazing if you really truly think about it. Not simply amazing, it's what makes God God. That he can have that deep level of loving relationship with every single living entity in existence. So it's not that he can't have that relationship, but it's more the living entities even having that interest to engage in a relationship with God. As Prabhupada began to purport, most people are just engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They're not even interested. But as soon as you're interested, God is like, make all the arrangements. Please come close. I want to have a relationship with you. That Bhagavan relationship that he has these 6 opulences, as Prabhupada mentions here: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. Krishna has all of these opulences in full, and he's a person. And if we know that he has these opulences and we can engage in a relationship with him as a person, then we know the only way to really know another person is to also engage with those who know him or her. How do I know his friends? And who are his relatives? What kind of relationships? What does he like? What does he not like? What is he interested in? What does he look like? How can I connect with God as a person? And when we understand that God is a person, then a verse like this makes sense. That not everybody, just because you achieve perfection, such as peace and harmony as perfection, truly knowing Krishna tattvataha in truth, right? Tattvataha. That is reserved for those who connect to God as a person. And all of the scriptures are roadmaps, and they're leading to this truth. Because you could have all the Jnana yogis who are on that path to peace and harmony and perfection, perfection. But it doesn't lead to that loving sweetness and connection. And in the relationship of the son of Mother Yashoda feels so much fear for her son that he could fall and hurt himself or eat something that will make him sick. The charioteer of Arjuna, that Krishna is offering some menial service to his friend, even though he's God. And so those kinds of relationships, you can't really understand that if you're an impersonalist. When you're a personalist, it immediately makes sense. We have all kinds of people like that in our lives. So that is also reflected in the cosmos. But ultimately, the source is all from the cosmos. It's not anthropologizing. Oh my God, anthropomorphizing God. That just because I'm a human, oh, that's the way God is. No, it's actually the reverse. And because the way the cosmos is, that is a reflection of us. So understanding all of the scriptures are roadmaps leading to a loving relationship with God as a person. So those are my reflections on this verse, endeavoring for true perfection. Hope to see you next time. Hare Krishna.